Terry Harris is newly resident on the Isle of Wight. And like many an islander, life could hold nothing more exciting than Blackfly on the Begonias. But rock and roll won't let him go.
The radio want you to phone in again.
Is that Jet Harris?
In his former life as Jet Harris, he played bass with the British pop phenomenon of the early 60s. Cliff may have sung, but a generation of Specky youths wanted to be a shadow.
The Shadows in the 60s were massive. Every record was a sort of number one and number two. Hank had this certain echo, you know, and I was, when no one was looking, turning the bass knob up. I thought, if I'm going to play this bass guitar, they can hear it.
Amongst the Shad's weaponry were twangy guitars and fabulous dance steps.
The crossover was the hardest, but in the end it became, you didn't even think about your legs automatically did the movements. I suppose most of the boys in the audience wish they were up there with a guitar, you know, with a quiff hanging down, girls screaming over you. Do you know, so I didn't even know what I was earning, so I know it was a lot.
He had it all, money, fame, a quiff. But Jet had problems, not least of which was the bachelor boy with designs on his missus.
Cliff had an affair with my first wife, you know. But even that now, I mean, we were only kids when it happened. Doesn't matter, does it now, you know. But I was a bit pissed off at the time, you know, I really was. But I hung on to my job.
And never let her go.
But only by his fingernails. Jet left Cliff and the Shadows in 1962.
I'd had enough of them. They'd had enough of me. My drinking was getting bad. I mean, I don't make any excuses for that. But when I left them and made solo records, I became even more well-known and made a thing called Diamonds, which went to #1. Much to Hank and Bruce's disgust, but there you are.
With a new band and a return to his roots, he'd had enough of the bleach blonde look. Jet was cruising, but the crash came, literally, overnight in 1964.
This award is the top instrumentalist of the year, Jet.
I was voted Musician of the Year alongside the Beatles, and that's when I got smacked up in the car. I had a nasty car crash. I was being chauffeur driven and it hit a single-decker bus. And I took this huge ashtray here, which split the head open. I just couldn't face the stage. And when you've got a young man that wasn't able to work for 3 years with a bank full of money, you're treading on rice paper, especially if he's partial to a drop of vodka, you know.
Jet's acquaintance with Messrs Smirnoff and Gordon became an expensive friendship. Hungover and overdrawn, Jet Harris, rock and roll star, became Terry Harris, odd job man.
I went as a barman. I was a conductor on the buses, planting gladioli, picking spuds. I was a hospital porter, second chef. I bluffed my way into that one. Trawler man, lobster pot man. Yeah, I signed on for a year or so. I think I signed off when I met Janet.
Come on then.
I don't think I could have stopped drinking without Janet. But now, I mean, I've never been so healthy. And Janet, I wish I'd have met 40 years ago. In the 60s, I was going through a lot of hassle and nonsense. At the same time, I was famous, well off, but I don't think I was happy. Now is happiness.